Stratholme was once a proud city. It stood within the kingdom of Lordaeron. People lived and worked within its walls. Farmers brought their goods to the city to sell. Traders came from all over to offer their wares. It was a place of life and hope and joy. But all of that changed. A darkness descended upon Stratholme.
A demon named Mal'Ganis had a plan. He wanted to corrupt the people of Lordaeron. He would turn them into his own undead slaves, the Scourge. His tool for this evil plan was grain. This was no ordinary grain. It was tainted, poisoned by demonic magic.
The people of Stratholme, unaware of the danger, baked the grain into bread. They ate, not knowing they consumed their own doom. The plague spread quickly. It was a horrific illness. It twisted the bodies and minds of its victims. The infected would soon die, only to rise again as mindless undead. Prince Arthas Menethil, a young paladin, arrived in Stratholme. He was there to protect the city. He had been sent by his father, King Tyrrhenus. What he found, however, was far worse than he could have ever imagined. The sight that greeted Arthas was horrifying. The plague had ravaged Stratholme. The streets, once filled with the laughter of children, were now littered with the bodies of the dead and dying. The air was thick with the stench of decay. The cries of the afflicted echoed through the empty avenues.
Despite my training, I was not prepared for this. I had never seen such suffering. I had never witnessed such despair. I felt a surge of anger. I swore to find a way to stop the plague. I would not allow this evil to spread any further.
He discovered the source of the plague. The grain. He also learned a terrible truth. The grain had already been distributed throughout the city. The people who had eaten the bread were already doomed. They would soon become the scourge.
Driven by desperation to stop the plague, I made a decision. It was a terrible decision, one that would haunt me forever. I decided to purge the city. I would kill the infected before they could turn. I believed it was the only way to stop the plague from spreading.
Uther the Lightbringer, Arthas's mentor and a seasoned paladin, was horrified by this decision. He pleaded with Arthas to reconsider.
You cannot do this. These are innocent people. The light would never condone such an act.
Jaina Proudmoore, Arthas's closest friend and a powerful mage, also objected. She saw the darkness growing within Arthas. She feared the path he was taking.
Arthas, please, there must be another way. This is not the answer.
But Arthas was resolute. He believed he was doing what was necessary. He had convinced himself that it was the only way to save his people. He accused Uther of cowardice. He dismissed Jaina's pleas as weakness. He had abandoned the light, choosing instead the path of vengeance. Uther, heartbroken and disgusted, refused to participate in the purge. He ordered his knights to stand down. Jaina, tears streaming down her face, could only watch in horror as Arthas and his men entered the city, ready to carry out their grim task. The Purge was a massacre. Arthas and his men cut down the infected citizens of Stratholme. Men, women, children, none were spared. The screams of the dying filled the air. The cobblestone streets ran red with blood. Arthas, once a beacon of hope, had become an instrument of death. He finally confronted Mal'Ganis. The demon had been waiting for him.
You are too late, young prince. Stratholme is already mine, and soon all of Lordaeron will follow.
Arthas, consumed by rage and grief, engaged Mal'Ganis in battle. But the demon was powerful. He easily repelled Arthas's attacks. Frustrated and desperate, Arthas made a choice that would seal his fate.